Good morning, students. So, in the last class, we discussed about series and parallel combination of the capacitors, and we discussed what is the difference between series and parallel combination of resistors and capacitors. Right? The formula, the final expression appears to be reverse. Like in capacitors, when capacitors are in series, you will get 1 by C effective is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 you will get. And whereas in case of resistors in series, we get R effective is equal to R1 plus R2 you can write. And whereas when capacitors are in parallel, the effective capacitance is C1 plus C2 you can write. But whereas in resistors, if they are in parallel, 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 we need to write. The conditions are same, but the final effective expressions appears to be reverse of that each of them. Because the conditions means like series means in resistors we say same path must be there so that same current will flow through that each resistor. And in case of capacitors we say that same amount of current charge should exist on each capacitor. Again same path will be there and so that same amount of charge will exist on each of them. Right? And similarly in case of parallel, potential difference across that each resistor will be same, and here also the potential difference across each capacitor will be same here. So the conditions will remain same. And so now let us see some problems based on that. So these problems are also, if you are able to solve that resistor problems, then capacitor problems also you can solve easily. Like suppose now in resistors we discussed such a similar problem. Now I am taking the same problem in case of capacitors here. So now the effective capacitance between A and B we need to find. So these three capacitors, each of capacitance C we can write. So that means now we are going to find effective capacitance here. Effective capacitance between A and B. So then you can easily say with the knowledge of our current density circuit analysis, you can easily say that all these three capacitors are in parallel, right? Because we discussed already the same problem in resistors. Whatever potential is there here, same potential will be there here. And similarly, whatever the potential is there here, same potential will be there here. For example, I am taking some potential of 10 volts here. Then same 10 volts will be there here. This is an example. Whatever the potential here it is, same potential will be there. And for example, here let us take some 2 volts potential here. Then here also same 2 volts will be there, right? Now we can observe that potential difference between these two, potential difference across this capacitor will be 8 volts. Then potential difference across this capacitor is 8 volts. And potential difference across this capacitor is 3 volts only, right? So all the capacitors are in parallel. And so that you can draw this circuit like this. That means in this capacitor we can fold like this, on this capacitor this we can fold like this. And so that this equivalent circuit we can draw like this. So that now this value, this will become point B here and this is point A, because we are assuming that I am folding this and this end is connected to here. And so now all these are, we can redraw the circuit like this. Therefore, when they are in parallel, the effective capacitance is nothing but we need to add them. C1 plus C2 plus C3 we need to write. And so which is nothing but 3 sig, the effective capacitance is, right? So like that you can easily solve this this combination of these capacitors, because we already know about this resistors. As we know the resistors, then these calculations will be easy for you. So these calculations will be easy for you. So let us take another example here. I am taking another example, like suppose I am taking the capacitors, the circuit like this. So now this is the case here, right? Now let us take all of them are also same capacitance C. Now this effective capacitance between A and B we need to find. Can you calculate the effective capacitance between A and B here? So then simply you can observe that. Can you identify any combinations like series and parallel? series and parallel combination of these capacitors. So simply you can observe this is totally a conducting wire, right? So whatever potential is there here, then same potential will be there here. And so that means you can remove this conducting wire and you can join directly this wire here, right? And so that you can say that these two, one end of these capacitors are already connected to the common point. So these two capacitors will be now in parallel, and that capacitance will be in series with this C, and the total combination will be parallel with this C, because we are joining this point to here. So that means we can redraw the circuit like this. So that means now I am redrawing the circuit here. So this capacitor will be here, this capacitor I am joining here. Now this end will comes to here, that means this end of this capacitor will be here. Right? So that will be the circuit here. Now this is the, you can consider this is the point A and this is point B here. Observe the diagram. Just I am removing this conducting wire and I am joining directly this capacitor here. And so that these two will be directly in parallel and this capacitor will become like this. So now this is the circuit here. Now we can say easily like these two capacitors are in parallel. So when two identical capacitors are in parallel, you can add them directly, C1 plus C2, so that is the 2C, you can write. Now that 2C will be in series with this C. And so now 2C and C are in series means then you can further redraw the circuit like this. Now this will be our points here, A and B points will be here. And this effective is nothing but you can calculate like 2C and C are in series. So you will get like this. So that is 2 by 3C, right? That means here 2C you will get. That 2C will be in series with this C. And so then series means then we need to apply that C1 C2 by C1 plus C2 formula we need to apply. So then you will get 2 by 3C. So 2 by 3C and this is C. Therefore finally you can write this C effective is equal to 2 by 3C plus C. Now again these two are in parallel, we need to add them. And so that which you can write this as 5 by 3C. So it is effective capacitance between those two capacitors there. That means that given circuit there, right? And so next similarly you may consider such another examples there here. Like suppose here I am taking an example here like, so suppose see in this I am taking another circuit like this. Suppose this one capacitor is connected here like this and one end is connected like this. Next similarly suppose say another capacitor will be there here. Suppose say now this is the point A and this is the point B here, right? Suppose you need to find the effective capacitance of this combination. So the effective capacitance of that combination means you can consider like again you can identify the series and parallel combination of these capacitors and so all the effective capacitance, all of them are identical. Let us take all the capacitors or of capacitance C, let us take. So identify, you will get the series and parallel combination of these capacitors. So solve that problem. Sometimes I will give some circuits and we need to analyze that circuit. That means we need to find the charge on each capacitor or potential difference across each capacitor we need to calculate. So let us see one such a problem. Like suppose I am taking the circuit like capacitance values here. The capacitance values you can consider them as so I am taking this as some C1. The C1 is, let us take 4 microfarad, and this is C2 I am taking 2 microfarad. So this is 4 and this is C3 12 microfarad, right? So that is and now here voltage I am taking like 24 volts. That is the EMF of this battery now. So now our argument is like find the charge on each capacitor. Yeah, find the charge on each capacitor. If you are able to find the charge, automatically you can calculate the potential difference also. So write this problem. Find the charge on each capacitor. The circuit shown in figure. So there, to find the charge on each capacitor, you may calculate the potential difference across each capacitor. You may calculate, or you can calculate this charge on individual capacitors. Like to calculate the charge, we need that potential difference here. So let us calculate this potential difference across this each capacitor now. So now I am taking this as I am redrawing the circuit here. Now we can identify clearly C1 and C2 are in parallel, right? When C1 and C2 are in parallel, you can find the effective capacitance of them. And so I am redrawing the circuit here. Now this is nothing but the circuit. Now the C1, C2 effective is nothing but C1 plus C2 we need to write. So 6 microfarad, right? And this will be 12 microfarad. And so now this is 24 volts. Now here you can solve it in two ways. One way is we can find the effective capacitance you can calculate from the total charge drawn from the cell you can write. And another way is you can find the potential difference. If you are doing like that, then charge on the 12 microvolts you will get directly. And here for this calculation, to calculate this charge on 4 microfarad and 2 microfarad, again we need to split the charge. Or otherwise, you can calculate the potential difference across each capacitor. Then you can directly calculate the charge on each capacitor there. Suppose I am taking here potential difference V1 and V2 I am taking here, right? And so now let us calculate the potential difference across this each capacitor. So when you are finding the potential difference across this each capacitor, we know that now two capacitors are in series. When capacitors are in series, the ratio of these potential differences V1 by V2 is equal to, so we discussed like the inverse ratio, that means Q by C we need to write, Q will be same. So it is the inverse ratio here. I am taking this as some C dash, because C1 and C2 means we are already used there. So then C dash by this C3 I am writing, which is nothing but 6 by 12. So the ratio of these two values we need to write here. Inverse ratio we need to write. And therefore this is nothing but 1 by 2. And therefore I am writing this V1 is equal to 1 by 1 plus 2 into total potential difference is nothing but 24 volts, which is 8. Then V2 value is 2 by 1 plus 2 into 24. So which is nothing but 16. Now as we know the potential difference across each capacitor, you can write the charge on this each capacitor here. So now I am writing this charge on 12 microfarad capacitor. So then this value is Q is equal to CV you can write. That means that is C3 into V1. So C3 is 12 and V1 is 8. Right? So that gives the potential difference across each capacitor. So that is 96 microcoulombs. And next is charge on this 4 microfarad capacitor. So let it suppose say Q1. Then this is C1 into V2 we need to write here. Here potential difference across this combination V2 we are taking. So here potential difference is 16 volts, means same potential difference will be there across this 2 microfarad, 4 microfarad capacitor here. So then that is nothing but you can write this as 4 into 16. So which is 64 microcoulomb. That means capacity is already in microfarads here, so the charge we are getting in microcoulombs. Then similarly you can write charge on 2 microfarad. So charge on this 2 microfarad is equal to Q2 is equal to C2 into V2. So which is nothing but 2 into 16 potential difference, same potential difference across them, 2 and 4. So which is 32 microcoulombs, right? Or you can also write this Q2 value as, because the sum of these two charges, sum of charges on this capacitor and this capacitor must be equal to the charge on this capacitor here. So that is nothing but Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2, you can write, that is nothing but what we are getting here. Q1 plus Q2 is equal to that Q. Or here sometimes they will ask a question like, what is the charge drawn from the cell? So that means how much charge is flowing from the cell here. Therefore, this charge drawn from cell. So can you say how much charge is drawn from the cell? So whatever the charge appearing on this capacitor, that is nothing but the charge flowing through this cell here, right? So that is the charge flowing through the cell we need to write here. So which is nothing but this Q value, or which is equal to Q1 plus Q2, and which is equal to, you can write this as 96 microcoulomb. So that is the charge flowing through this cell here. So next let us see these two problems here. So first let us discuss about this, and after that I will explain that problem. So that means here like 5 capacitors are connected like this, and we are applying a total potential difference of say 60 volts. So now we need to find, write down the question, in the circuit shown in figure, find the energy stored in 5 microfarad and 8 microfarad capacitors. Find the energy stored in 5 microfarad and 8 microfarad capacitors in the circuit shown in figure. So right, and energy stored means we calculated in the we derived an expression in the last class. Like you may apply this half CV square or Q square by 2C or VQ by 2, you can write. That is according to your calculation you can write. That means if you are finding the potential difference, you can apply half CV square, right? If you are finding the charge, you can apply this Q square by 2C formula, you can apply. And so now let us first see this circuit here. So I am trying to calculate this potential difference here, because if you calculate the potential difference, you can calculate this energy also easily. So then if you are observing the circuit here, now you can observe this here, some connections were given here by a conducting wire. So then such a problem just now we solved here, right? And so then this is nothing but you can say here whatever the potential is there here, same potential is there here, and whatever the potential is there here and same potential will be there here, right? And so now, so then here these 3 capacitors we can say those 3 are in parallel, right? So 9, 5 and 10. Those 3 capacitors are in parallel. So we can write this effect, we can redraw the circuit like this. So that means here 10 microfarad, 5 microfarad and this 9 microfarad are in parallel, right? So then in parallel means we can write their effective is, suppose I am taking them as effectively together I am taking them as some C here, so that capacitance we can write this as some 24 microfarads, right? So let us take them as some C2 I am taking here. For example, I am taking this total it as C1 and this you can take it as some C3, right? So now I am redrawing the circuit here. Then we can redraw the circuit like this. This is one capacitor, this is another capacitor, this is another capacitor here. So then total potential difference what we are applying here is 60 volts. So this across this we are applying a potential difference of 60 volts. Suppose now I am taking this as some 12, C1 I am taking this as now 12 microfarad. This I am naming it as C2 now. This C2 I am taking it as 24 microfarad. And let us take this as C3 and 8 microfarad, right? That means what we did here is we are replacing these 3 capacitors by a single capacitor which is 24 microfarads. Now you can calculate the potential difference across each capacitor. That will be easy for us. So then suppose I am taking here potential difference is V1 and this is V2 and this is V3, right? Now all these 3 capacitors are in series. So when capacitors are in series, so that means in series combination the ratio of these potentials V1 is to V2 is to V3 will be equal to 1 by C1, inverse ratio of their capacitances. So 1 by C1 is to 1 by C2 is to 1 by C3 you can write. Therefore, this V1 is to V2 is to V3 is equal to, I can write this as 1 by 24, 1 by 12 is to 1 by 24 is to 1 by 8, right? And therefore, I can write that ratio as V1 is to V2 is to V3 is equal to, multiply with the 24 here, then you can get this value as 2 is to 1 is to 3, right? And so now you can calculate the potential difference across each combination here. So we need that V2 and V3 values to calculate that energy. I am calculating directly that V2 and V3 values. So then V2 value we can write as 1 by sum of this ratio, like 2 plus 1 plus 3 into total potential difference, which is 60. So therefore this V2 is equal to, so 10 volts you will get. Then V3 value you can calculate. So then it is 3 by 2 plus 1 plus 3 into total potential difference 60. So we will get 30 volts. So as we know the potential difference, now we can calculate this energy easily, right? So that means now energy is stored in 5 microfarad. Energy is stored in 5 microfarad capacitor. So this value, suppose I am taking this as some U1, half C into V square formula you can write. So then it is half into C is 5 into 10 power minus 6 and into V square means it is 100, that means 10 whole square, 10 square, right? So then you can write this as 50, that means 250 microjoules, right? And similarly the energy is stored in 8 microfarads. You can apply just that formula here. Energy is stored in 8 microfarad. So let's suppose it is U2, half CV square formula, 8 into 10 power minus 6 into V is 13 whole square, right? And so therefore this U2 is equal to 4 into 10 power minus 6 into this is 900. So then you can write this as 36 into 10 power minus 4 joules or 3400 microjoules you can write. So that is a calculation of this energy. Just that means to calculate that potential differences or energy, that means you can follow this procedure simply here by calculating this. So here instead of calculating this potential differences, first you may calculate the charge and after that you can distribute the charge among these 3 capacitors here. So that is again there also such a similar calculation will be there. That means what I am saying is instead of first finding the potential difference, you may first find the total charge here because these 3 capacitors are in series. You can find C effective and when you are finding C effective then Q is equal to C effective into the 60 volt total you can write. So that gives the total charge, that means charge on this 12, charge on this 24 and charge on this 8 microfarads you will get. But we need the charge on this 5 microfarads here or at least we need the potential difference here, right? So at least the potential difference you need to calculate. Like suppose if you are simplifying across this, so here you will get some charge here. Then potential difference across this combination we can write it as simply Q by C you can write. Then you will get the potential difference, which is nothing but the potential difference across the 10 or 5 or 9 you can consider. So potential difference across 5 you will get and then you can apply this half CV square formula and for this as you know the Q value, then for this you can apply the Q square by 2C formula. So that is your choice, either you can calculate the potential difference like this or you may calculate this charge there, right? So that is this problem. And next write in this problem here, we need to do the reverse calculations here. So in the circuit shown in figure, the potential difference across 7 microfarad capacitor is the potential difference across 7 microfarad capacitor is 6 volts. 6 volts. Then find charge on each capacitor. Charge on each capacitor. And EMF of the cell. EMF of the cell. And total charge drawn from the cell. Total charge drawn from the cell. Right? So those are the calculations. That means just potential difference across one combination is known here. We can do the everything, every calculation we can calculate here. Whatever the required calculation in that circuit, everything you can calculate. And actually such a problems we solved in current electricity also. In such a combination of resistors, if current in one resistor is given for us, then you can calculate the current of the different resistors you can calculate there, right? And the EMF of the cells also you can calculate here. So now let us see this calculation. So when this potential difference across that 7 microfarads are known to us there, you can calculate the charge on that capacitor, right? And so now that 7 and that 3 microfarad capacitors are in series, and so same charge must exist on both of them. And from that you can calculate the potential difference across this 3 also. And if you know the potential difference across 3 and 7 there, for that combination, then this 3.9 is in series. That means you can get the potential difference across the 3.9. So like the back calculation, how we need to do here. These two are in series. That means these two capacitors are in series, so same amount of charge must be there. And so here charge on this capacitor is, we can write this as, I am naming these charges here. Let us take this as some Q, let us consider here. And this charge I am taking as Q1 and let us take this as some Q2, right? And so now charge on these two capacitors must be same because both of them are in series. And so now here this charge we can write this as Q2 value, I can write that as Q2 is equal to, Q is equal to CV formula you can write 7 into 6. So 42 microcoulombs, right? And so now charge on the 3 also same will be there. That means charge on this capacitor will also be same charge will be there. And so now you can write for this 3 microfarad capacitor, you know the charge and you know the capacitance. So from that you can calculate the potential difference. Now I am writing potential difference across 3 microfarad. So this you can write this as Q by C formula, that means Q2 by 3. So which is nothing but 42 into 10 power minus 6 by 3 into 10 power minus 6, right? And so which is you can write this as 14 volts. The 10 power minus 6 will be cancelled, so that you will get that value as 14 volts, right? And so now potential difference across this combination will be equal to 14 plus 6. So then you will get 20 volts. So same 20 volts must be there here because this 3.9 combination is in parallel with this 7 and 3. So therefore what we can write is now, so potential difference across 3.9 microfarad capacitor. Is it clear what I am saying? So this value should be equal to 6 plus 14. So 20 volts. Because this combination is in parallel with this 7 and 3. So the potential difference across this must be same as that of potential difference across that. So then which is 20 volts. And now for this capacitor, you know the capacitance and you know this charge, that means potential difference and capacitance. You can calculate the charge. So therefore next I am writing this charge on 3.9 microfarad, right? And so then you can write this as Q is equal to CV formula, that we are naming it as Q1. So then 3.9 into 20. So then it is, you can write this as Q1 is equal to 78 microcoulombs you will get, because here this is micro will be there, or you can write this as 10 power minus 6 here. 3.9 microfarad is there. So 3.9 into 10 power minus 6 into that potential difference is 20. So then we are getting it as 78 microcoulombs. Now we need to calculate for this capacitor here. So for this capacitor, can you say how to find this charge or potential difference? Any one of them we need to calculate, charge or potential difference. You can calculate charge easily. You can calculate potential difference also. If you want to find the potential difference, you need to find the effective capacitance of this. So instead of that, as we know already, this charge flowing here and charge flowing here. That means whatever the charge is storing on this capacitor, that charge will divide into two parts here, right? Suppose this Q is a charge here, some charge Q1 is flowing and some charge Q2 will flow like this. That is, by charge conservation we can write here. So Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2 we can write. And therefore what I can write is, therefore charge on 12 microfarad capacitor is equal to Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2 we can write. Therefore this Q is equal to Q1 is 78 plus this Q2 is 42, right? And so that this is 120 microcoulombs. And if you know this charge, and then if you know this capacitance, we can calculate the potential difference. Now I am writing this potential difference across 12 microfarad capacitor. So this potential difference, now we can write this as Q by C formula. 120 by this 12. Micro and micro will be cancelled, so that you will get this 10 volts, right? So that the 10 volts is the potential difference across the combination, across this capacitor. Now the total potential difference or the EMF of the cell we need to write here. Therefore this EMF of the cell we can write as, can you say how to write now EMF of the cell? So whatever the potential difference we are applying here, that same potential difference will be there. That means the total potential difference will divide into two parts here, right? Suppose if you are taking this as potential difference V1 here across this, and remaining potential difference V2 across this parallel combination. Now that V should be equal to V1 plus V2, right? And therefore that potential difference we can write this as that potential difference V is equal to V1 plus V2. That means 10 plus potential difference across that combination we calculated already, that is 20. So then it is 20. So total EMF of the cell will be 30 volts, right? Got it? Potential difference across that. So that means if one of the potential difference, one of the cell information is, one of the capacitor information is known to us, either charge and capacitance or potential difference and capacitance, you can do the remaining calculations, all calculations in that circuit there, just by using Q is equal to CV expressions, and just with the knowledge of when capacitors are in series, charge will be same on them, and when capacitors are in parallel, potential difference will be same on them. That means across them. So potential, by using that concept, we can do the every calculations present in this circuit here. So then sometimes we solve such a similar calculations in capacitors also. You can in examinations also I gave some problems based on that. So right. So then you can easily understand these capacitor problems, because we solved already such a problems in electricity, current electricity topic. So the only the confusion here you may get initially is, in the beginning, the total charge drawn from the cell. The total charge drawn from the cell is not sum of the charges on the each capacitor. Remember that point. The total charge drawn from the cell is nothing but charge present on the capacitor, which is directly present in series with it or directly connected to this capacitor. Let us observe this. Now the total charge drawn from the cell is nothing but that will appear on this capacitor here, because that charge has to pass through this capacitor only, right? And so that charge is dividing into two parts here. So that charge distribution will take place here. That means charge drawn from the cell means don't consider or don't think that we need to add all the charges on the capacitor. So only the charges we discussed already in the last class, like charging of the capacitor. So if three capacitors, one capacitor is there, if suppose the battery is supplying a charge Q, even if such a three capacitors are there, if charge on the first capacitor is Q, then charge on the capacitors which are connected in series will be Q1, right? And so that here also the same concept here. So always remember, you can write the charge drawn from the cell as, if you are calculating the effective capacitance, if you are calculating, then Q is equal to C effective into EMF of the cell we can write. That is one way. or otherwise if you are finding the charge on the capacitor which is directly connected to the cell or which is directly connected like this, and so then the charge on that capacitor is nothing but the charge drawn from the cell, right? So remember that point. You may calculate by calculating C effective, or you can do this calculation here. C effective, instead of that C effective, you can write this as at the charge present on that cell we can write, which is connected directly to that cell. And so next find this problem here, like so then infinite capacitors are there, such infinite capacitors are connected like this. So that means now here this like 8 capacitors here, total 8 including them. So that and so on here, the number will goes to this infinity. And now this circuit is connected to a cell of EMF say 10 volts. Then each capacitance, all are identical here. Let us take each capacitance is, let us say 2 microfarad here. Each capacitance I am taking it as 2 microfarad. Now we are connecting to a cell of EMF 10 volts. Then we need to identify the how much charge is drawn from the cell. So write that infinite number of capacitors are connected in the combination shown in figure. Each capacitor, the capacitance of each capacitor is 2 microfarad and EMF of the cell is 10 volts. Then find charge drawn from the cell. So then find charge drawn from the cell. That means here now we need to calculate this effective capacitance, we need to calculate here. So then from that you can calculate the total charge drawn here. So because in each row, that means here initially 1 is there, next 2 is there, 4, 8, next 16, 32 and so on. Like the number is increasing like that. So then what I am doing here is I am redrawing the circuit here. So let us see this now. So only that first single capacitor is there. Next here 2 capacitors are there in series, right? When 2 capacitors are in series, 2 identical capacitors are in series, the effective capacitance you may write this as C by 2, right? And next, in next row how many capacitors are there? 4 capacitors are there, right? So you can write this capacitance as C by 4. And next is 8 capacitors are there here. So you can write this as C by 8 and so on. This tends to infinity here. So now that is our circuit. Now we can observe this, all these capacitors are in, now all these combinations are in parallel, right? And so when all those combinations are in parallel, I can write this C effective is equal to C plus, C by 2 plus, C by 4 plus, C by 8 plus and so on to infinity. That is infinite combination here. And therefore you can simplify this as C effective is equal to C into, and here I am taking this C common here. So 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 cube plus and so on infinite you can write, right? And so that is an infinite series there. So you can find the effective capacitance there. So you can write this as C into 1 by 1 minus 1 by 2 you can write, right? Infinite series. So that this C effective will be equal to 2C you will get. And therefore this charge drawn from the cell is nothing but C effective into V you can write. So which is nothing but 2 into C into V, or 2 into C value is given here. 2 into 10 power minus 6 into this V value is 10. So therefore this Q value we can write this as 40 microcoulombs. That is the charge is drawn from this cell. So like that you can calculate the series and parallel combination of the problems easily, right? So just you need to identify which capacitors are in series and which capacitors are in parallel, and Q is equal to CV is one relation, and C effective in series and C effective in parallel you need to remember. And then another points are basic points, like capacitors are in series means then the charge across them, charge on each capacitor will be same, and potential difference will be same if they are in parallel combination. So by remembering these points you can solve the problems based on this series and parallel combination of these capacitors, right? And so next here in resistors we discussed about the short circuiting there. So such a concept is there here also, short circuiting. In combination, like when capacitors are short circuited, then their effective capacitance will be, that means we should not consider those capacitors there, right? If suppose I am taking this capacitors are connected like this, in a combination, like suppose here this combination of circuits are there, that means all are, let us say, identical here, each capacitance is C, right? Now here suppose here this capacitor, that means here I am connecting a conducting wire here like this. Now effective capacitance of this combination we need to write. So effective capacitance of this combination means, you can observe this clearly here, the effective capacitance is nothing but these two capacitors are now short circuited because potential difference across them will be equal to 0, right? So that means here you can redraw the circuit like this. You will get more clarity if I am redrawing the circuit like this. So now these two capacitors are in series. I am replacing them by C by 2. Then this is C and this is C. Clear? Now you can observe this potential difference across this capacitor is 0. When potential difference across the capacitor is 0, even though capacitor is connected on that, it doesn't store any charge because our Q is equal to C. The capacitor does not store any charge means it is ineffective. The capacitor, whether it is present in the circuit or when you are removing the circuit, there is no difference, right? And so that means you can remove that circuit here. Even if that circuit is, that capacitor is removed, or even if that capacitor is present, there is no effect here. And so that you can write this as, now this capacitor is ineffective or this capacitor is short circuited. So this is short circuited. So that capacitor is short circuited now, and therefore that C effective will be equal to, only these two capacitors are there here. So then we can write them as both of them are in series, both of them. So you can write that as C effective, right? So directly here itself we can say that. And you should observe the difference between, and such a connection problem we solved one such a problem previously there. I think the first problem which we discussed there. So if one conducting wire is there like this and other conducting wire is there like this, right? Now observe the difference between these two connections here. Now these two are not same here. You may think that why we are not considering these two are in short circuited there, right? Because of presence of this wire. The below also we are connecting one wire here, so that the potential difference across this combination is not equal to 0, right? So their potential difference will be there. Whatever potential is there here, same potential will be there here. But so here another potential will be there here because this another wire is connected here. So definitely here there exists some potential difference, and here also there exists some potential difference there. So that potential difference across them is not equal to 0. And even if you can't consider these two as a series like this, right? You can't replace them by a single capacitor there. So because of this connection here, here also if any such a connection is there from this midpoint here, you can't consider it as a short circuit here, right? So that means short circuit means like that. The potential difference across that combination should be equal to 0. Across that capacitor should be equal to 0, right? That is the potential difference across that. So that is the meaning of that short circuit there. Whenever you are observing such a circuit there, connection, conducting wire across a capacitor, you can neglect that capacitor. Next year, sometimes they may ask a simple questions based on this combination of capacitors and resistors. Suppose I am taking this as some R1 here. R1 is say 8 ohms and this is R2. R2 is say 2 ohms and this internal resistance of this cell. This is, let us consider it as 2 ohms and this cell is of 24 volts. And here this R3 is there 10 ohms, right? And this is a capacitor of capacitance say 2 microfarads. Now our question is what is the current flowing through the current drawn from the cell and what is the current flowing through this resistors, different resistors, right? So that means now in this type of questions we discussed already like charge flowing through the capacitors. The charge flowing through the capacitors means the charge will be there in that path or charge flow or current will be there in that path only during the charging or discharging of the capacitor. But here they won't mention whether it is in charging or discharging capacitor. So then when nothing is given, you need to consider that circuit is in steady state, right? Steady state means, I said already, steady state means the capacitor is fully charged. So after that we need to consider that. That means that after completion of charging of the capacitor, the circuit is said to be in steady state. So once the charging of the capacitor is completed, then no current flows through that path. We discussed already in the charging of the capacitor. Charges because this is the open circuit actually. This capacitor is the open circuit here. These two places, there is no connection from one place to another place here. So that the charge reaching this capacitor cannot travel along this direction here. That means it can't jump from one plate to another plate here, right? And whereas for this charges the continuous path is there for this. So that means now current will flow through this R1, R2 here, but there is no current flowing in this path here. That is the most important point you need to remember. And during the charging during the discharging also we can calculate the current in the different resistors, but after completion of this capacitors we will discuss that. That means after completion of this basic points regarding the capacitors we will discuss, like which we call actually such a type of circuits, we call them as CR circuits. So we will discuss that CR circuits there after that. In that CR circuit majorly which we concentrate on that currents flowing to the circuit during the charging or discharging of the capacitors. Now here it is after steady state, that means after reaching the steady state here. So just draw the circuit and write that question. Find current drawn from the cell, current flowing through the each resistor, current flowing through the each resistor, and a charge on the capacitor, right? And so now, so here nothing is given here, you need to consider that. So in the solution mention that when nothing is given, we need to consider capacitor is in steady state. Capacitor is in steady state. That is, capacitor is fully charged, steady state means. And then mention that once the capacitor is charged, there is no current flowing through the path. There is no current flowing through the path in which capacitor is connected. That means here there is no current flowing in this path here, right? And so that this resistance is ineffective. You may not consider that resistance here because no current is flowing here. While calculating effective resistance, no need of considering this resistance. Is it clear? Because no current is passing through it. Once the capacitor is fully charged here, the current will flow through this circuit only like this. So no current will flow through this branch here. But here what we can write here is, suppose I am naming them as this point as AB, and this point as, suppose I am taking it as some CD. So then once this capacitor is fully charged, the potential difference across this AB must be equal to the potential difference across this CD, right? Because those two are in parallel. And the potential difference across this AB is nothing but potential difference across this capacitor only, right? Because here there is no potential difference here, current is 0, potential difference across resistance means IR we need to write. So I value is 0, so that here there is no potential difference here, the total potential difference will be there across this only. So potential difference across AB means the potential difference across this 2 microfarad capacitor only, right? So that is nothing but equal to the potential difference across this R1 plus R2. So I am writing now effective resistance. Therefore here R3 is ineffective, so that no need of considering that. Therefore that R effective is equal to R1 plus R2 plus small r, because these are all are in series. So which is nothing but 8 plus 2 plus 2 we can write, so 12 ohms. And therefore this I value we can write this as this EMF of the cell by R effective we can write. So EMF of the cell is 24 and this is 12. So it is 2 amperes here. And so now current flowing through R3 is 0, and as all of them are in series, current flowing through each resistance is same only, that is 2 amperes only will get here, right? So the current flowing through that each resistance will be same, 2 amperes you will get. So that current through each resistor, or which is nothing but the current through the cell calculation is over. Next we need to calculate the charge on this capacitor. Now potential difference across capacitor is equal to Vc is equal to I into R1 plus R2 we can write. So potential difference across this capacitor is nothing but potential difference across this combination here. Now the potential difference across this combination we can write this as I into R1 plus R2 we can write. And therefore potential difference across capacitor is equal to 2 into 8 plus 2. So therefore Vc is equal to 20 volts. Therefore from this we can write the charge on capacitor as, so charge on capacitor Q is equal to Cv we can write, and therefore it is 2 into 20 microcoulomb. So that this charge is 40 microcoulombs you will get. There is a charge on this capacitor there, right? So there is a charge on the capacitor in this case here. That means that is the point you need to remember. When capacitor is in steady state, no current flows through that branch. No current flows through the branch in which this capacitor is connected here. And so that this resistance will become ineffective. In the remaining circuit only we need to cancel that current there. So then that is about this series and parallel combination of resistors and some numericals based on that, and this CR circuits in steady state, right? So then practice the problems based on the series and parallel combination of the capacitors. In the next class I will discuss about that sharing of the charges. When two capacitors are connected, how the charge will flow from one capacitor to the another capacitor, right? So thank you.